Okay, have you watched the Barbie movie?
I have not watched Barbie or Oppenheimer. I'm behind on
Wait,
that.
don't you have a little girl?
Yeah, she's three. Pretty
Yeah,
pretty
maybe a little.
little. Not like a yeah.
All right.
I don't think
Okay.
she. I don't think we've even gotten her a Barbie. Maybe I'm depriving her from the American experience, but I don't think she even knows what a Barbie is yet. But yeah, have you watched it?
I think you should. Yeah, I think you should go see it just for the pure brand experience.
Okay.
Like it is. I thought it was brilliant on a million different levels. It was so cool, one, to see like this. Even like it's not a brand I'm like in love with. I was never a Barbie kid, but like to see that come to life on the screen in such a captivating way was really really cool. And then to see a brand attempt to take some steps towards reconciling the weird impact it's had on society while having an impact on society in this big multi-billion dollar kind of marketing push it's just fascinating. It's
Yeah.
really interesting to see how all that works and that they actually were kind of able to pull it off. Like you came away feeling like they addressed the misogynist, sexist view of Barbies enough that you come out of it feeling like, oh, Barbie's like it actually stands for empowerment. That's what it stands for.
Hmm.
It's not about just pigeonholing women to be tall blonde
Yeah.
things. Even though like in reality it's still a little messy, but to
Sure.
see them take that issue and work on it a little bit was kind of cool.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but that's what I've heard. I've heard mostly positive responses and same kind of thing where it's like it actually was more. Like intentionally they mark it as being kind of the superficial because like that's what but then little glimpses of like oh it's going to be deeper than that with little parts of the teaser and the trailer and stuff and
Mm-hmm.
I've heard it does that pretty well. And it's interesting how yeah the Barbie as a product and as a brand became so well known and understood and synonymous with a certain like the brand was well known that you could it gave rise for a movie like this. Like not every brand could you do a movie in this way where people understand what it's trying to either fight against or say. And it's interesting because Barbie's kind of it's the Mattel toy company, right? Like Barbie's one line of product, but no one really you couldn't make a Mattel movie, but you can make a Barbie movie. And so
Yeah.
some sub brands or owned brands within a family of brands become like really dominant because you can niche them down. That's a little unrelated to the movie. That's a little plug for the reason you can create sub brands sometimes. Because if it was the Mattel doll, it would not be the same brand as Barbie. And so,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah. That's a really good point. And I do think there's a trend toward. I was reading about this somewhere, so I can't take credit for the original thought, but there's a trend toward brands investing more in their own IP and studios then like working with brands that already have existing IP and then using that to do more things rather than trying to create something from scratch. And because you could take that Barbie ecosystem so much further than it has gone.
yeah.
It's one of the biggest toy brands ever, but it could keep growing with technology. It's just interesting.
There's been a few different movies like that that have like tapped into like there's the Lego movies, there's the Barbie movie,
Mm-hmm.
there was another one, or wasn't there? But yeah, where they tap into old parts that millennials and stuff that people can like that are part of our childhood, and then brought back in a new way. I mean, the Lego movies were still a little bit more featured toward cater to kids a little bit. The Barbie movie is very much for an adult audience, right? Like it's not just a little kid
Yeah.
movie that happens to be good. It's
Yeah. It's very true. I think I think part of there was like this isn't like a new thing. There have been attempts to like turn movies into or make movies out of other things in the past. Like, did you ever watch the really bad Super Mario Brothers movie from like the 90s?
I've seen clips from that before. I never watched the actual
Oh, it's
movie.
so bad. It's so bad. It feels like now, like these brands and the studios they work with realize how strong and important their intellectual property is. That they actually have to, like, if they're going to do something, they have to do it right. There's not
Yes.
just kind of half-assing it like they did with that
Yeah.
Mario
That's
thing.
the other one I was thinking about. Mario, Sonic as well from video games. There's
Oh
been
yeah,
some
yep.
recent movies. Yeah,
There's
there's
a
a little
Gran
market for that.
Turismo movie coming out.
There we go. That's true.